Hello and welcome to Darki Explains. Today I wanna talk about how you should step into a human mission. So this is always the last mission in the Guild War, so the red one. So normally you play two walker missions, the screen missions, and the last is the human enemy, so it's the defender of your opponent in Guild War. So therefore I will make a second video how you could set up your Guild War defense, but in the first step I want to show you how I enter the mission against human enemies. So I take Maggie, Hilltop Maggie, the shooter, in the lead because she has keeping the peace, where she could get a second action point, in my case in 27%, which is increased by luck, and she maybe gets a second attack in this case. So you shoot on the enemy and maybe have a second chance to shoot. So I roll Maggie with Freeman. She didn't have marksman in my case because marksman increases damage but not so high. You didn't need it for human enemies, so when she hits critical, this is more than enough to shoot the enemy down. So revenge, you have the chance to that she kills the enemy when another of your team is attacked, and she must be in range for this. So the other both are two bruisers. I have T-Dog because he has iron skin and he could use his leader threat for punish, also instead of punish, because I don't have this good badges on my second account. So if I have enough badges, so for damage reduction 80%, I will replace iron skin for punish, and then he will double punish, so with his leader threat and with punish threat. So he's very good. You should use a hazard suit. So this second threat is the hazard suit. So he takes not so much fire damage, and all attacks have a 20% chance to be a body shot, so it's also good. The next one is Eugene. He has in his leader threat a lesser chance of being critical hit, and a lesser chance to be stunned. So it's also a good one, but you have to know you couldn't get more than 75% stun resistance. So he's also very good as human enemy fighter. For supports, I use really the Havacha to fire up an enemy, and maybe the Commonwealth armor could also be good, because when you see the enemy and they didn't attack you, they stay in Overwatch, and maybe you reach them with the next turn. You should activate this Commonwealth armor that you aren't be stunned with critical aim, for example, or get rooted when the enemy has end-shot weapons, or getting burned or something like that. So, or getting crippled, for example. It's also so any status effect will be will not affect on the survivor which activates the Commonwealth armor. Yeah, Habacha maybe, and for Maggie maybe the cat, so she could shoot one walker and then could activate the charge attack. So another variant is to use Eugene in lead, so the others will also not getting so much critical hits or have more stun resistance. Or I saw also guys who uses Guardian Carol with the Starbound rifle with fire, so she could shoot over the whole map without a range limited. So she's also a good fighter against human enemies, but I like her very much, and I batched her offensive, and my Maggie is batched defensive, so she could also hit it and will not be so fast red. So you should always look at the hazard suit, that your bruises has hazard suit to prevent this high fire damage, and you should use also damage reduction, so try to come up to 80%. More than 80% isn't used, so the cap is over there. And use 2 bruisers. And for beginners, I would say if the enemy is really hard, you shouldn't do that Freeman missions, because you haven't dispatches and the enemy team is maybe set it up very good, and without badges you are equal to the enemy, so it's so hard to fight against them. Also sometimes the spawn of the maps are really on your side and not on the enemy's side, so this could be really hard to do for a beginner. So you should also roll your team right. So for example, my Maggie with critical aim is really good in this case, and yes. So I think that's all, and I said I will make a second video how you could set up your defense, and so that's all. Bye.